There is the Met Gala that happens the first Monday in May every single year.
What is that?
So it's just like a collection of actors, actresses, models, and it's just this gala. There's, I think there's like a huge dinner, and it's just to be seen.
They support somebody? Is it like
it started by Anna Wintour, who was and I don't know if she's currently the editor of Vogue magazine. So it's all this really high fashion.
Oh, okay.
And it used to be just, you would see these wonderful fashions. Now it seems almost like a costume contest.
It's like big VIPs go to this thing, huh?
Big VIPs.
Okay.
If you are somebody, you're going to be there in the fashion and entertainment world. So you show up, and I mean, you've paid tens of thousands of dollars for these dresses or these outfits that
just to go to it?
Just to go to it, right? That you get an invitation, first of all, and then you have to spend all this money. So one of the singers that showed up at the Met Gala brought in her own dinner. And I mean, Wolfgang Puck, usually, this world-renowned chef, usually does like the meals, these chefs.
What'd she bring?
Chick-fil-A.
For real?
And I'm not hating on her for that at all.
This high mucky muck thing,
yes.
She brings in her own fast food,
She brought her own nuggies. She brought the waffle fries.
Wow.
And she was being made fun of by some other, highfalutin celebrities that were there.
Listen. Go off to the movie theater. How many people actually bring their own food, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? What was it that Scott said he brought something? What was it?
Well, I like to sneak in a candy every now and then. You can go to the Dollar Tree and get a box of candy for $1 or so, $1.25 now, and then take it to the theater.
Yeah, but I feel like you brought lunch.
Well, yeah, one time I decided to sneak a sandwich in. So I had a Ziploc bag, and I just made a quick sandwich at home, popped it in the Ziploc bag, and
ham and Swiss.
Brought it.
You made it from home?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I will say my daughter and I went through the BK one time before we were going to see some movie, and we took in like a Whopper Jr.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's expensive. And I'm
why
not
do I
saying
feel
it's
like
right.
that's a sin? I don't know why. Because you go in there and they have their thing, and that's how the movie theater makes their money.
Yes.
That's why popcorn that's so cheap to make is so expensive,
right.
Because they don't get the box office stuff.
But there is nothing like movie theater popcorn. Like we went in, we went to see Guardians on Sunday with the fam, and we got like the little combo with the drinks. And now we shared drinks. I'm sorry. Look, I birthed you. You can have some of my spit.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
It's Rob and Liz in the morning, his radio. Okay, John is here. Something about where you sit at the movie theater? What is this?
The best way I can put it for seating in a movie theater is simple. I want the top seats where it's a wall behind you and nobody can kick your seat or throw popcorn or dump a drink on you. It's got to be the back, very top of the theater where nobody can be behind you.
And then you're so far away from everything. I have to be a little closer, John, just a little bit closer. And then I'm hearing people are bringing their own food into the movie theater.
Well, here's what Robin texted, 800-447-7234. She goes and gets movie theater popcorn without seeing a movie. I didn't know you could do that. She goes in just to buy the popcorn. She said, yes, it's expensive, but it is so good.
Well, that makes sense because you can walk into a movie theater and not have a ticket with you. You just can't go past the ticket guy because the concessions are wide open to anybody who comes.
But I wonder, can you go in, because you get refills on the tubs or whatever. Can you go in and get your popcorn and go back a couple of hours later and get your refill?
Oh, listen to Liz working the system
you gotta
of the
work
movie theater. So I heard that Jake brings his own food to the movie theater.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not paying them prices.
So like some crackers or something?
So I think last month when I went to go see Mario, I had a sandwich in this pocket and an apple in this pocket and in Nature Valley.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so an apple? They don't sell that at concessions, so you're just like...
Yeah, it was going to be a joke. It was going to be a joke if a quiet part came up in the movie. It was just going to be like...
Oh, you're the jokester. You're the guy who wants to be noisy in the theater.
Not at all. I just had an apple.
Yeah, but a crunch is loud.
Right. My parents used to take sodas in a can. I mean, and we would be there as kids and just like, what are you doing?
And you hear the pop...
It You're like, oh my goodness. Oh, no.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
I've done this before, just followed the thing without using any common sense. Rob and Liz in the morning, his radio.
If you're talking about the GPS, oh my word, if you're visiting somewhere, you don't know the city, you don't know the shortcuts, sometimes the thing steers you wrong.
Yeah, it takes you a left turn and you're like, wait a minute, there's not even a road
You
here.
just were going to meet the family at the restaurant, you put it in the GPS, you wound up at the post office. I mean, come on. Here, I don't know if you heard this, but here's something that happened in Hawaii. The lady is driving and mindlessly, doing the right thing, following the GPS to get to where she's going. I don't know if you do this. Some people do, but they're looking at the map while they're driving and not really at the road. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I have to turn here, I turn here. Okay, so I turn here, I go straight, I turn here. She wound up watching the map and not the road and went straight, followed the GPS to detail, followed it, and wound up, this is Hawaii, wound up right in the water.
In the ocean. I mean, it's like off a boat ramp or something. And I have to think, this is a rental car. A rental car. She has now drowned. This did not go well.
It's like, turn here, and she did, and went right in there.
Thankfully, there were some other people there. They jumped into the water, and she and her friend out. They were just trying to have a fun time looking for the pineapple farm or whatever.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
He found all this pasta. What do you do with it? It's Rob and Liz in the morning, his radio. So he had a brilliant idea. He's like, hey, the animals will eat it. So he got a wheelbarrow, and he took 15 different trips. That's how much pasta there was. 15 trips with the pasta to a stream and dumped it all in a stream.
Why would you dump it in a stream?
He's thinking the animals will eat it.
So why in the stream? You think the fish are going to eat?
There's
holes in the plot, that's all I'm saying.
Right.
But if you're going to dump it, I mean, why did he not take some pesto, some Alfredo, some marinara, like some stuff to go along with it?
Breadsticks, whatever.
Right? But that's why. Why? Who had it? His grandma? Is that what you
said? His mom's house, yeah.
Why did Mom have so much pasta? I know.
She's hungry.
Look, I know they put it on sale a lot. I know it's a lot of times $3 for $1. You can get a box of pasta. But why so much? Why do you have so much? Does she have a large
store
family?
Up for a rainy day.
But there's no sauce with it. What do you do with the sauce? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't just have pasta with no sauce.
And he's thinking in his head, logically, it sounds right. It's food. Animals will eat this, but something happened with the pasta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What happened with the pasta?
Didn't it
Oh, you mean, okay, yes. So the stream, the moisture got to it, and it puffed up just like when you boil it.
And it clogged up the stream. And the city had to wind up cleaning the pasta out.
Yeah. The animals, look, our animals in some ways are kind of spoiled. Even those that are, wild animals, they get a little spoiled by what they find in dumpsters and whatnot. They were not eating that pasta.
Not at all.
Not going to do it.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
So just when maybe you're thinking, I know I have thought in the past, like, do miracles still happen? Is God still working miracles? Absolutely still working miracles and working through people to make these things happen. So there are some doctors, I believe this is in Texas, that have just performed brain surgery in utero. So mom is pregnant with baby. Baby has a chance, a really good chance, I should say, a good chance of having a stroke or something happening after the baby is born if they don't get in there and repair some of these issues. It's super, super rare. But they went inside mom's womb and they performed brain surgery.
Really?
Yeah. And they said first successful brain surgery they've ever done in utero.
The life inside her womb.
Exactly. And so the baby was born 2 days later.
Yeah.
And they said they had to do this surgery before it was born just to make sure.
Really?
Yeah. And so little baby and mama are now home. Both are recovering. And it may take a little bit longer for baby to recover, but now has a good lease on life.
How God uses our medical professionals and doctors and nurses and all that staff to help out like that.
The talents, the gifts, the knowledge, it comes from God, and it's God working through the doctors, like you say, in their hands to make life possible.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I don't know if you've ever watched The Wonder Years. If you know somebody who's like a super fan of the show, there's Kevin and Winnie, right?
Yes.
So, and Winnie's the girlfriend interest, and this is like kids that are, in their teenage years, the wonder years of life.
Elementary to middle, yeah.
So, Danica, I think that's her name.
Yeah, McKellar.
Yeah, she's Winnie. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you know this, but she's really good friends with Candace Cameron Bure. I always say the name funny, but you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, they're good friends, and Candace one day said, hey, here's a Bible. And then Winnie, I'm just going to call her Winnie because it's easier for me to say. Winnie's like, well, thanks. And she started reading it, and now she has this relationship with Jesus. And she said, you know what I want to do? I want to read the Bible from beginning to end now.
Which is so cool. She had read, she spent a little time in the Old Testament, a little time in the New Testament, but she was kind of skipping some parts. Hello, I've been there. And so she wanted to read it start to finish.
So she's doing it. She's like in Genesis right now and enamored with the story of Joseph and the coat of many colors.
Yeah.
That
talking
whole story.
about, how God was with him no matter what. When he was sold into slavery, when he was, in prison, doing all these things. God was still there with him, doing a work in his life to prepare him for what was to come. And she said, that's an amazing story.
And she's very grateful that Candace gave her the Bible in the first place and said, hey, listen, you should check this out. And now she contributes her relationship with Jesus to Candace, who was bold enough in Hollywood to say, hey, Winnie, here's a Bible.
Yeah.
Read it.
I doubt she sat her down and was like, now this is about Jesus, and did a whole spiel or anything. She simply gave her a gift that spoke volumes.
Isn't that amazing?
Look at the work it did.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Yeah, there's a flight from Houston to Atlanta. They had to get everybody off the plane. There was about a 4-hour delay because there was something on the winglet. Now, let me just tell you, I didn't know that planes had winglets.
What is a winglet?
I don't know. It's a little piece of below the wing, I think, or part of the wing, but it's called a winglet. But there was a problem with it.
Is that the flap that goes up and down
think
that
it
makes the
is.
plane fly up and fly down?
Right.
Scott, what is a winglet?
I thought it was something you had to cut off before you cooked it.
That's
the
true.
chicken wing split.
But this is a plane.
Not a cutlet, but a winglet. I got you. Yeah.
I think it's that thing that sticks up off the plane's wings. You know that little piece now that I don't know.
Okay. Wow.
I love how we're all coming up. I think it's that little thing behind the tail.
It's that little,
thing on the plane,
the winglet.
Winglet.
Yeah. What about the winglet on the plane?
It was covered with bees.
Oh, well, nice.
Yeah, there was a ton of bees that just got onto the winglet, and they were just hanging out. So I don't know if the plane had gotten up 36,000 feet or even 10,000 feet, could they have hung on? I don't know, but they had to get everybody off the plane, take care of the bees. They rehomed them, relocated them, and I'm glad. I didn't want them to take the bees out or anything like that.
Is this the same one where I heard the pilot just said, forget this, let's go? And then the bees finally, when it started moving, the bees finally came off?
What I heard is they they relocated them. They got them away from there somehow.
Wow.
So, I don't know. But you know what? The pilot, listen, the bees are going to do what they do.
Right.
If that's what he ended up doing, the bees are going to do what they're going to do. They know that once it gets 10,000 feet and they can't breathe anymore, they probably need to go somewhere else.
I don't think you go to that extreme.
Take a tip from Spider-Man. When you get into space, you got to let go.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
The throwback phones that people are buying. They're saying they're dumbing down. It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio. Like Galaxy, they have one of those dumb phones that people are starting to buy. They're like $1,000 back in the day to get some of those phones. They're $40 now.
$40.
I know, right?
But it's so that it's not in place of their smartphone. So what's happening is it's like a second phone so that if you go out to dinner with people or let's say you're at church or a wedding, that kind of thing, then you're not tempted to get on and start texting or surfing the internet, that kind of thing.
That's not a bad idea.
It's really not. I know.
Hopefully it can be connected to the same number.
Hopefully it can be. And I don't know if you can have two phones on the same line, but that would be best.
Well, Liz's husband works for one of these companies. He would know.
Well, yeah, he would know. He knows most everything that goes on there. So,
I use his app.
Yeah, you do.
I use the same internet service that her husband works for. And so I call it, the app that goes with it, I call it the Joey app.
The Joey app. He'll be like, so the internet's down at the house. I checked the Joey app.
I just checked the Joey app, and it works. Like Scott, for instance, who does our news. I remember, what was it, Nokia for you.
And I still kind of miss that phone, late 90s, and you could drop it, and it was just almost indestructible.
They're kind of durable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it had a couple of games on it that I remember, Snake and Space Impact. I don't know if you remember those or not, but you can't find those anymore.
Snake?
Snake.
I've never heard of those. I mean, I remember, oh my goodness, not Candy Crush, but there was something like that was on a dumb phone.
On one of those throwback phones?
There was
really?
some, so
it was
I can't
real
remember.
basic.
Yeah.
Real basic.
What was Snake?
The snake kind of moved around the screen, and you tried to, like, coerce it to not bite itself or something.
You were enticing a snake.
That's...
Look, I got one in the yard.
I need
you
to find
can
out
have.
exactly how it was played, but that's kind of the concept.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
My in-laws like to play Scrabble a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and when they're getting older, I noticed, like on my father-in-law's phone, his texting is really large letters.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah. And so I've noticed, and I don't know if you like to play with grandma, grandpa, and if the kids like to play the board games along with them on the summer vacation that's coming up, but I noticed that Trivial Pursuit has bigger pieces that are coming up. They call it senior friendly. And Scrabble's doing the same thing.
So, like, the little pie is bigger that you put the little
all the
colors
stuff's
in?
bigger.
Wow, that's fun.
Even the little tiles for Scrabble are coming bigger. And they even have different versions of the game like Scrabble Bingo and stuff like that. They even have one that's called Scrabble Pass that gives you a little 30-second timer so that you can pass instead of,
Oh, you know, a timer would be a good thing because some people just take forever.
Take a long time. But I like the bigger pieces because my in-laws, they're looking a little bit closer at the board now.
Oh, yeah, or that
They're
thing.
like leaning in.
Are they leaning in, or are they doing the whole head like nod thing where
they're trying to look through the bottom of the
glasses,
bifocals on their old-fashioned glasses,
or over the top of them,
trying to see the thing. So the bigger pieces will help out, especially if you're like with grandma and grandpa trying to play games this summer.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
I am cautiously excited about this. Rob and Liz in the morning, his radio.
Cautiously?
Yeah, no more passwords, but I feel like there's a catch.
There's still passwords. But it's that whole what do you call it?
Two-factor authentication?
That's it.
Okay.
Because it's TFA. I can never remember what the acronyms are.
You come up with the African, I'll tell you.
thing. So now Google is going to help so that you can get direct access into your stuff on your device. For instance, they'll do a thing called a passkey for all your Google stuff. So it's either a 4-digit PIN number or face recognition, that kind of a thing. So instead of always having to remember your password, it'll remember it for you, and it'll do the TFA that way.
Okay. So you still got passwords. Now you got a PIN number you got to remember.
Now, here's the thing. The PIN number will automatically put your password in for you when you're on your device.
Okay.
So it's not like, okay, let me put in a PIN number. Okay, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I got to remember my password. What was that password? It's not like that.
It'll just load it.
It'll put it in there for you. I don't know if you have like a My Chart or anything like that. A lot of things on your phone, maybe even your bank, will allow you to do face recognition.
Yes.
You just hold it up and put it. That's what it is.
So
they're calling it passkey.
Teacher, I'm raising my hand because hasn't Apple had this kind of thing for a while?
Yep.